Okay, in today's session, we are going to discuss about inbound email actions. Okay, so as you all know, when ServiceNow sends an email, that we call it as outbound email. When ServiceNow receives an email, we call it as inbound email. Okay, so when ServiceNow receives an email, we call it as inbound email, right? That is fine. So how ServiceNow will receive the email? So like we all have email addresses. ServiceNow has its own email address. Okay, as we all have our own email addresses. Okay, ServiceNow has its own email address. So if you send an email to ServiceNow email address, ServiceNow receives that email. So before that, you have to check the inbound email checkbox. Okay, you have to go to email properties. Okay, okay. So well, in the email properties, okay, in the email properties, this checkbox must be checked. Email receiving enabled checkbox must be checked. So these are actually inbound email properties, guys. These are actually outbound email properties. We already have discussed. Okay. If this checkbox is checked so that ServiceNow can receive the email. Okay. So these two are actually very important things, guys. These two are very important things. Okay. Fine. So guys, here first of all, first thing is this checkbox must be checked, and you have to send an email to ServiceNow email address. So where do you find ServiceNow email address? You have to go to email account. So in the email account, you will find SMTP server account. So let me just open the page. In the email accounts, normally you will see SMTP server account. Okay. So where you will find a ServiceNow email address. Okay. If you send an email to that particular ServiceNow email address, ServiceNow will receive that email. Okay. So if you want to restrict, if you want to restrict particular people, okay. So let us say TCS company employees should not send an email to Wipro company employees. So we have to restrict domain. Okay, domain restriction. So that domain restriction also can be done in the email properties. If you scroll down here, you can see trusted domain when creating new users from incoming email. So ignore from untrusted domains. Okay. So star means all domains at the rate gmail.com, at the rate wipro.com, at the rate capgemini.com, at the rate cognizant.com. Okay. So here you can also restrict the emails that are actually receiving by ServiceNow. Okay. So as I mentioned already earlier, the the inbound emails are actually restricted in personal developer instance. So these inbound email actions won't work in the personal developer instances, but in the organization for company service no instances, inbound email actions will work. Okay. So inbound email actions work in the organization service now, but it won't work for personal developer instance. Is that clear? Okay. So let me just take a whiteboard here. Okay. So let us take this is okay. Okay. You are the person here. You are the person here. Okay. So you send an email. Once you send an email, okay, you send an email. And once you send an email, this is ServiceNow. ServiceNow receives that email. Okay. So you are the person, you send an email, that email, ServiceNow receives that. After receiving the email, okay, inbound email actions will run. Okay. This is actually inbound email action. Inbound email action will run. So the prerequisites is that email properties, in the email properties, email receiving must be checked. Email will have email address. If you send an email to that particular email address, so let us say here you are sending an email to that particular email address. ServiceNow receives that email. Once ServiceNow received that email, there is a concept called inbound email action concept that will be running. So here what I will do, I'll just open the emails here. Just go to the emails. So here in the email logs, you can see send email, received email. So all the emails, whatever the emails that are sent out, what are the emails that are received to ServiceNow, everything you can see here. So type is sent ready. Okay. Received. So you can actually find the inbound email in the received section. Okay. You have to filter here as type as received. Type as received. So no mail is received today. So if any email received today, you can see that in the logs here. Okay. Because in the personal developer instance, we can't send an email. In the personal developer instance, you can't send an email. You can't send an email to the personal developer instance because that is restricted in the personal developer instances. Okay. So what happens? So as soon as ServiceNow has received the email, there is a concept called inbound email action concept, inbound actions. So this inbound actions will run. Okay. So this inbound actions will run. So you will send an email. That email will be received by ServiceNow, and you can see that here. Once email received, this inbound email actions will run. So guys, remember what did we discuss in our previous session? Inbound email action. Let me just go back here. So what did we discuss in the here, guys? So by looking at this image, what do you answer? You tell me here. So shipping case, these things. What do you answer from this particular image? Hmm? Very good, Kondaya. Very good. So in ServiceNow tables, record can be created. In ServiceNow tables, a record can be created from different sources. So Excel sheet is actually one of the source. Form is actually one of the source. Script is actually one of the source. Email is actually one of the source. So using email also we are able to create the record in the table, right? So using inbound email actions, you can create a record. So what happens? So here in today's session, using email, how do we create a record? Using email, how do we create a record is what we are going to learn. I told you, right? In ServiceNow, we can create records from different sources. I told you, right? So Excel sheet, form, script, record producers, external systems, virtual agent, chart. So likewise, from different sources, you can create records, right? Likewise, from email also you can create the record. How do we create the record using email and all? We'll learn in today's session. Okay. So you will send an email to ServiceNow. ServiceNow receives that email. It will run the inbound email action. So what I am doing is I am going to create an inbound email action here. Create HR case. Okay. So here you have to select record action. Active true. Okay. When to send as. So as I told you, ServiceNow can recognize if the email is replied email or forwarded email. So if you mention here particularly new email or forwarded email or replied email. So on the new email, if you want to create a HR case, on the forwarded email, if you want to create a HR case, on the replied email, if you want to create a HR case, so you will mention here on which particular email you want to create a HR case. So I am keeping new email. On new email, it has to create a HR case. Okay. So here, whoever is the person, okay, let us say Uday Gadiparthi is sending an email. So that person email address is there in the ServiceNow user account, right? Let me open the user accounts. Okay. So here, if I am sending an email from my email address, so if my email address is there in the ServiceNow user account, with that user account, whatever the user account that particular email address has, that user account has this particular role or not, it will check. Okay, you are restricting using role here. If that particular person has admin role, only then this will be executed. So email must be new email. The person who is sending an email, that person should have admin role. Okay. So that should be coming from Uday Gadiparthi. Okay. So if you see here, the mail should come from Uday Gadiparthi. He should have admin role. It must be new email, and subject should contain. Okay, subject contains create HR case. So see, if you observe here, guys, the target table is HR case. It must be new email, and the person who is sending an email should be Uday Gadiparthi. The Uday Gadiparthi should have admin role. Okay, and the subject should contain. The subject should start with, or the subject should contain create HR case. Okay, these are the conditions. If there are some any advanced conditions, you can write advanced condition here. Okay, so you can use email dot subject dot index of greater than -1. Then the script will be executed. Okay. So here in the actions, okay, in the actions, HR case field values you can set from here. Category. Category is software. Subcategory is Linux. Okay. State is new. Okay, if you want to write the script, you can write the script here. Okay. If you want to write the script, you can also write the script here. So here you have primarily two objects here, current object and event object. Current object and event object, and the third one is email object. You have three objects, very important. Okay. So current object refers to this HR case here. So whatever the table that you select here, current object refers to that particular table. Suppose if you select incident table here, current object refers to incident table. Now what am I doing is current dot u underscore caller, HR case caller is equal to gs dot get user ID. GS dot get user ID means the person who sent an email. Okay. Okay. Email object I am using. Email dot subject. Email dot subject. Current dot u underscore description is equal to email dot u underscore description. Okay. So here the end you have to use current dot. Current means here HR case dot insert. Current dot insert. So it will create a HR case record. Okay. So what will happen, guys? So let me just duplicate this one. First of all, if any person send an email, it will check inbound email, inbound emails receiving checkbox enabled or not. If that is enabled, okay. So here it will receive the email. Once it received the email, if the conditions matches, that if the conditions matches here, if the conditions matches here, so what happens? This script will be executed. This script will be executed, and it will create a HR case record. The script will be executed, and this will create a HR case record. Okay. Clear, right? So category will be set as software, subcategory will be set as Linux, and state will be set as new, and caller will be set as gs.getUserID. Short description will be set as email subject. Short description will be set as short description will be set as email subject, and description will be set as email body, email dot body text. Okay. So that what happens? It will create the incident record. When the incident record created, guys, what happens is that there is a field called target field. Let me open this one. There is a field called target field. So in the target field, in the target field, HR case number will be populated here. Okay. In the target field, HR case number will be populated. So what happens if you go here? Where is that diagram? Okay. So we as an employee will send out an email. ServiceNow receives that email. It will actually trigger the inbound email action. So once the inbound action is triggered, what will happen? It will create a HR case record. Likewise, whenever we send an email, ServiceNow receives that email. It will create the record. Hope you understand, guys. Hmm? The flow you are clear or not? Hmm? Okay. So what if I want to update the record instead of creating the record? I want to update the record. Okay. So now you tell me, whenever you send an email to ServiceNow, ServiceNow has to update the record. So ServiceNow has to recognize which particular record do I have to update. So when you send an email, ServiceNow has to update a particular record. So how ServiceNow will recognize which particular record do I have to update? Okay. So here what I am doing is I am going to create another inbound email action. I am going to create another inbound email action that is actually update HR case. New email, the person who is sending should have admin role and it should be from respective person. Uday Gadiparthi. Okay. The subject should contain update HR case. Okay. So here in the inbound email action, okay. So in the HR case table, so guys remember, let me just open the email address. Okay. So let me just open the email address here. So I'm sending an email to ServiceNow. Okay, update HR case. I'll write here. Subject contains update HR case. So you have to mention the case number here, HR case number here. Which particular HR case you are updating, that particular HR case number you have to provide in the subject. Let me just open HR case. Okay. So here from the in the subject you are passing the HR case number, guys. This is must in the in updating the record. If you don't pass the HR case number, so how ServiceNow will actually update particular record? So you are passing the subject here. So this subject you will get it here in the inbound action. Okay. So how ServiceNow will recognize the subject? How ServiceNow will recognize the subject? So here it is not like that, Prithvi. We have to pass the number. We have to pass the number. So if you want to restrict to only the emails um, which are actually created from the inbound emails, we can restrict it. We can create a new field on the form, and whenever the HR case is created from the inbound email action, we will actually mark the checkbox so that we can actually recognize that this record is created from the email. So then what happens when you are updating the record? We will check the condition. We will check the condition. So here the email that is actually receiving is actually created from the inbound email or not, we can recognize it only then we can update it. Yeah, that can be done. So where subject is equal to email dot subject. So from the subject, what I do is that I will extract the number. From the subject, I will extract the number. Okay. Email dot subject dot split using this one. Split after splitting it, index of one dot trim. So then you are getting the number from the subject. So you can use if current dot get. Current dot get is used to check if the record is exist in the table or not. So current dot get u underscore number, comma, number. So if number is there in this HR case number field, then you can actually update it. Current dot u underscore. Okay. So likewise, we can first check if the record there in the service now or not. If the record is there in the service now, so you will fill short description as email subject, description as email body, and you will use current dot update here. Current dot update here. So likewise, guys, likewise, we can check, we can actually update the record. Whenever you send an email, service now will check. Okay, these conditions. If all these conditions are satisfied, this script will be executed. In the script, what I am doing is I am actually extracting the subject number. I am extracting the subject number. Okay. After extracting the subject number, after extracting the number from the subject, I am actually checking if that number is there in the table or not. If that number is already there in the table, it will update that particular record using current dot update. Okay. Okay, that is fine, guys. From the email, you are getting the subject, you are getting the body. What if I want to pass category value from the email? What if I want to pass the subcategory value? What if I want to pass the state value? What if I want to pass the configuration item value? What if I want to pass the um, category, subcategory, impact value? What if I want to pass the urgency value? What if I want to pass the assignment group value? So here those values you can pass it in the body. So category, okay. So category colon, I am just keeping here as software. Okay. Subcategory colon Linux. Okay. Colon impact colon low. Urgency colon low. Assignment group colon. You can pass the group system ID. Assignment group is a reference field, right? You can pass the group system ID. Okay. So these values, this CATE, subcat, impact, urgency, assignment group, these values you can access in the email body. You can access in the email body. So current dot u underscore category is equal to email dot body dot category. current dot u underscore email dot body dot. So here it should not be category CATE. Okay, it should be subject. Current dot u underscore impact email dot body dot email dot body dot impact. Okay, current dot u underscore urgency is equal to email dot body dot urgency. Current dot u underscore. So likewise, you can access the other field values as well. The email body, you can write CATE colon the value, subcat colon the value, impact colon the value. Okay, urgency colon the value, assignment group colon the value. So likewise, guys, you can pass other field values as well from the body. Okay, so that what happens? ServiceNow receives that email, and once ServiceNow receives that email, if these conditions are met, the script will be executed, and it will update the HR case record. So here you must pass the number here from the subject, guys. If you don't pass the number, it is very difficult to update. Okay. Hope you guys are clear. Okay. So there is a email object in ServiceNow, guys. You have to understand about that email object. Using that email object, you can see email.to. Email.to. Okay. So comma separated contains comma separated list of email addresses in the to and CC both. You can see email.to means comma separated list of email addresses in the to and CC both. Email.direct means only two list. Email.direct means only two list members. Email.copied means only CC list members. Email.body text means contains the body of the email as a plain text. Body HTML means contain the body of email as a HTML string. Email.from which particular person the email is received. Email.from sysID means the person's system ID. Email.original email. So contains the address of the email sender as listed in the email headers field. So email.subject contains the subject of email as a plain text string. Email.recipients contains a comma separated list of recipient addresses as a plain text string. Okay. So email object contains all these methods, guys. Email.to, email.direct, email.copied, email.body text. Body text we used. Email.subject we used. Okay. We have other methods as well. So we have original email, we have subject, we have recipients array, content type, headers, importance. Okay. You can say how to get email object variables from received email to use the inbound action logic. Okay. Hope you guys are clear. Hmm. So here in the inbound email actions, you can write glide record. So inbound email action is a server side script, guys. Inbound email action is a server side script. So inbound email action is a server side where you can write all the server side APIs such as glide record secure, glide aggregate, glide date time, glide schedule. You can use all the server side APIs. Okay, you can use all the server side APIs here. Okay. So you guys are clear? Any doubts regarding today's session? Everyone? So Prudhi, for your doubt, what we can do is in the HR case table, what we can do is we can create a field or we can create a option. In the channel, we have email option, right? So we can use this option. If the channel is email, okay. So whenever the record is getting created, we can keep the channel as email. What we will do, we'll open the inbound actions here.
Uday, my doubt is like the HR case, the table, I mean, the records can be created through chat or else agent also can create, right?
Yes.
Through emails, we can update it on any records or only the records which are created through the emails.
No, we can update any records.
Okay. And earlier I asked like in the table, the records, how it got created, either a script or chat or else agent created, how we have to identify the record is created through which source.
See, here we can keep a flag here. Okay, channel. So you can create, see, if the if the HR case is created from the form, you can select walk-in here. Okay, getting my point? Stop your
Okay.
video. Okay, so here you can just select here as walk-in. Walk-in means that means you are creating it from the form. So if you are actually creating it from the email, you can keep it as email. If you are actually creating the record from the agent, you can actually create another choice. You can select the virtual agent here. Okay. So from which source you are creating, from that source, you keep the channel as that particular source name. You got my point?
Okay, yeah, got it.
Suppose this HR case is getting created from the email. So then what you will do, you will write a logic here. Current.u underscore channel is equal to email, you will write here. So that what happens here, the channel name I am keeping here as email. So that we can recognize that this is created from the email. This HR case record is created from the email. Can we recognize like this? Hmm? You got my point or not?
Yeah, yeah, got it.
Any questions from anyone?
Yes, so good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, Kunal.
In the form that is inbound email actions, there is a checkbox called that is stop processing. Is it will stop that process?
Yes. Suppose
In which
guys,
case we can use? Okay.
suppose you send an email to ServiceNow. ServiceNow receives that email. Okay. ServiceNow receives that email. Okay. When ServiceNow receives that email, it will check these conditions. Okay. It will check this condition. Suppose we have 3 inbound email actions. These 3 inbound email actions are matching conditions. You getting my point?
Yes, Uday.
There are 3 inbound email actions. These 3 inbound email actions are matching the condition. So that what happens? These 3 inbound actions will be executed. Getting my point?
Yes,
When
Uday.
ServiceNow received
To stop
email,
that,
when ServiceNow received the email, so here it will check all the inbound email actions. Which inbound email action is matching this condition? Suppose 3 inbound email actions are matching the condition. Okay, it will execute 3 inbound email actions. Instead of executing the 3 inbound email actions, if this condition is met,
can,
you would like to stop here itself.
we can stop other two by executing the final one.
Yes.
Okay, Uday. Thank you. That is the doubt.
Yes. Prevents the system from the running additional inbound action after this one. Okay.
The executor
But there is
execution
no any
order.
numbering, right?
Yes, it
Yes,
is
we
the
can.
execution order.
Yeah, yes, it is
100.
there. Yeah, yeah. Executing order is there. Yeah. And one more thing, Uday, yeah, it's like subject should be, it is a fixed format or like, because we are recognizing the subject by, I mean, by splitting and by dividing the hyphen symbol, right? If the subject is different, then how we can recognize the
If the
subject?
subject is different, it won't recognize. Subject
Okay.
should
We
be
need, yeah, it should
standard.
be like, oh yeah.
Standard.
Okay, standard one.
We have to keep inform. We have to inform the users upfront. So if you
Oh,
send in this format, only then ServiceNow can receive this email.
yes, yes, understood. Thanks.
This concept is interesting, right?
Yes, Uday. It is.
So what you need to understand here is, so far what we did understand here. Let me just go to the previous one. We understand how to create a record from form. We understand how to create a record using script. We understand how to create a record using email. We understand how to create a record using Excel sheet. Excel sheet one we have seen, right? Everyone?
Yes, Uday. Clear.
If not, we'll be seeing the we'll be seeing import sets concept in coming days. There is another topic called import sets that we'll be discussing in coming sessions. Okay.
Okay, Uday.
Any questions from anyone? Hmm?
No questions, Uday. Everything is clear.
So have you got an idea, guys, still here? By this time, you guys might have got an idea how ServiceNow is working and all the tables concept, the validations. Hmm?
Yes, Uday. Everything is linked up. Concept to concept.
By this time, you guys must have some clarity. If no clarity, that means you are not listening to the sessions. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So guys, the JavaScript that I covered is useful for you, right?
Yes, Uday, it is useful.
Everyone.
Yes, sir. Useful, let us.
Okay, guys, then keep up your good work and keep practicing, and I'll see you there in tomorrow's session.
Uday, I had one doubt.
Hello.
Yeah. Am I audible?